Hey, so this week is going to be a little different. I'm going to do some mini-sodes that I like to say, or call them rather, and just do a few things about happiness, and also let you guys know that I really believe that your voice needs to be heard. And so please reach out to me at Logan at LoganTylerNelson.com. That sounds weird. So reach out to me with Logan at LoganTylerNelson.com. I don't know if that sounds better or not, but I hope it does. Anyways, so since we talk a lot about trauma on this show, I want to feather with the idea of being unhappily happy. It sounds like an oxymoron. Although it's not a moronic idea, I promise. So, my life is kind of like a laboratory, and happiness is sort of the experiment. I mean, I think we can all agree that all of us wants to be happy, right? Every day is a little bit different, though. Within those days, there are moments of good, bad, and ugly. I know my only goal is to be happy, right? Makes time go by faster. But scientists say that when you're trying to be happy, it's actually really hard to be happy. Or when you're trying to not be angry, it's really hard to not be angry too. So there's this paradoxical thing that kind of happens. But if you don't untie yourself from happiness in moments during the day, it'll just lodge you up in believing that you're actually bored or depressed, which is not always the case. And so, with that being said, it's easy to forget that unhappiness is actually a good thing. And unhappiness makes us change. Dare I say, try to be unhappy, and you'll find happiness. Often trying to do something really bad can lead to greatness. I mean, check out Jackson Pollack, for example. The guy's paintings were crazy, right? I don't know. I mean, maybe I was kind of overwhelmed by all the splashing of the paint, but I mean, his paintings don't look like art. But the abstract creates something amazing inside your head where you get to plug the pieces together and make the story that you want that painting to tell. I'm going to give you 9 ways to stay unhappily happy. And take what you want from it. Be abstract. Paint your own story, like Jackson Pollack. First of all, number 1, money is good. But there are other things that are better. Money, in all honesty, has minimal effects on happiness. Lots of money can make you happy, but that's not really the point. It's having impact, and it's actually focusing on something that you love to do. And if money happens to be a side effect, that's when you can actually be happy with money. Number 2, work on your passion daily. Alright, I know, it's hard sometimes to find your passion. It's like it's hiding behind a rock and finally you go, oh, there's your passion. But that's not true. But I do think anything that makes time fly is usually a really great indicator that that may be your passion. When you become so obsessed and you can't stop thinking about that one thing, that's also a good indicator that that thing might be your passion. I know that it's easier said than done, though not as difficult as you might think. But it's all about finding that workflow or that zone, whether it be working out or writing or making some art, or maybe just calling a friend and talking about all the things that are on your mind. If that's what's making your time go by really, really quickly, then that's an indicator that that thing may be your passion. Always take time out of your day to do that. So, number 3, what sort of activities do you find that you enjoy outside of your work? Is it knitting, acting, working out, or playing an instrument, painting, hiking, walking in nature, writing, pogo sticking, Snapchatting, Facebooking, any of those things? They're so much more amazing when you only do it once in a while. And that's why those activities should be just once in a while. I mean, spending your entire day on Snapchat, well, that's your job. And so you can't do that all day. But cutting out a little bit of, time just to do the thing that you love with that Snapchat or with that Facebook or with knitting or acting or working out or playing a musical instrument or painting, hiking, that's when it's really fun. It's just taking a bit of time to do whatever it is to find a way to make time for these things as often as possible. Challenge yourself to make room for them in a busy day. For all we know, that I don't have enough time is just a big fat lie, let's be honest. So for me, for example, I take at least 15 minutes just to learn a new skill, whether it be website design or DSLR camera stuff, which obviously I'm not very good at. So I usually just take, 15 minutes, not long. And that 15 minutes can make a world of difference. Hey, and if you're having a hard time actually doing these 15 minutes, I'd love to invite you to my Facebook group, which is Scratching Your Own Itch, Creating a Life Worth Living, just so you can stay accountable to creating those 15 minutes during your day. And if you have any questions on that subject, it usually helps a lot to have a community and engage with other like-minded individuals that also may take interest in that thing. So head over to that. You can find me, again, like I said earlier, Logan at LoganTylerNelson.com, or just search in Google, Scratching Your Own Itch, Finding a Life Worth Living Facebook group, and I guarantee you'll find me. All right, number 4, fasting. So an interview with Vanity Fair, Mr. President Barack Obama, he described an interesting strategy he uses to make a life a little bit more simple, I guess. You'll see that I'm wearing only gray, he says, or blue. What he's trying to do, though, is make less decisions during his day. If, for example, he's got to make a decision on eating or wearing a certain thing, then he's making less decisions on the big, then he's making less decisions. And this all comes down to decision fatigue, right? We have actually only a finite amount of decisions we can actually take and make during the day. And when you tap into all those decisions, those small decisions like what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, how you're going to do your hair, all those mini decisions, well, let's face it, they can run out. So you don't want to tax yourself. So what I personally preach is fasting. I think intermittent fasting is a great idea. If you want to eat all your calories in 1 or 2 meals, then you don't have to be thinking all day about little snacks that you're going to eat. And there is a transition period, so I'm going to give you that warning right away. Is you will get hungry the first time you skip breakfast. You will be hungry the first time you actually wait 5 or 6 or 7 hours even, sometimes before eating your first meal upon wake up. But what I'm telling you right now is the amount of focus that you will gain after doing that is amazing. So check it out. Try fasting. So I believe we're on number 5. Number 5, be radically honest, even when you're a pathological liar. Honestly, I fall into this a lot I'm not perfect. I know. I don't pretend to be perfect, but lying, the thing is I'm good at it. And it can be a very, very bad thing. Be a bad thing for me, bad thing for you. But we're human. And honestly, lying can be like a superpower if it's used for bad. But it's the dark side of a superpower. It's like when Luke turns over and gets a red lightsaber. Or when Anakin turns over the dark side. He has great powers, but he's not using them for good. I'm just going to say that if you have some raging feelings towards someone, or someone in your life is completely just devastated, is completely just destructive in your life, you need to be upfront with them. And the same comes to you too. If you have this emotion that comes over you, completely release it. Be honest about it. Accept reality. In accepting that you don't feel well, you'll find real happiness. Because you'll be able to process it that much more quickly. And it's not negative emotions like sad or mad or fear. I would take your focus off of those, but what kind of emotion are you resisting? Are you resisting fear, sadness, anger? If you're resisting that, it's again like that paradox. You will then get that, and that will happen in your life. All right, on to number 6. Make small talk with a stranger. Chatting up your cashier. Yeah, that's right. Just chatting up your cashier. Maybe walking down the street to your supermarket and just chatting up with a customer that's walking around in the aisle and just, taking note of their coat and saying a simple, "Hey, I like your coat." It'll make you feel amazing, I promise. They actually took a study of 2 people. And the behavioral scientists gave a group of Chicago train commuters $5 to the Starbucks. It was a gift card that they gave them in exchange for striking up a conversation with a stranger during their ride. While another group kept to themselves and just didn't interact and worked on their quote-unquote productive work. Those who started conversations reported a more positive experience than those who stayed quiet, even though they had predicted they would be and feel happier in their own solitary. The easiest way to meet someone, though, is to not just, give them a compliment, but maybe sometimes ask a question. If you're scared to actually talk to someone, go with one of these 2 questions. I love these questions. If you had one food that you could eat for the rest of your life without gaining a single ounce of fat, what food would that be and why? Or, I love this question, how do you make big decisions in your life? And I guarantee you'll be so surprised by scratching your own itch and being curious about their life. Number 7. Moving meditation. Okay, let's face it. When you consider a practice meditation, you probably envision yourself with your eyes closed, sitting cross-legged and, just totally not moving at all. Which is cool and all, but many spiritual exercises use postures and movement as paths to completion. It's multitasking, but in the best way. So, walking meditation, I believe, is actually sort of upon that meditation. I love walking. I'd rather be walking than just sitting there with my eyes closed, not doing anything. Walking in this way and in this form of meditation, just remind yourself to use good posture. Just like seated meditation, take deep breaths and experience the emotions of the body. And walking motion should be continuous, so pick up a safe place and space to roam around like maybe in a large park or a field. Number 8. Why don't you just dress up? Seriously, dress your part. Stephen Covey said, dress up for the job that you want to have one day. And I think it's true, but buying a new suit or a new dress can really amp up your mood. And you don't need to spend a ton of money or drop a bunch of cash to reap clothing benefits. Wearing the color red can actually boost your confidence or self-esteem, which might be just, picking your favorite sweater at Goodwill or some other thrift store shop. By the way, Goodwill is not sponsoring this podcast, but if you guys want to, let me know. I'll totally do it. Uh-oh. Sorry for that beat. Anyways. Number 8. Create something. Whether it's through this blog or writing down a list of ideas or even drawing, it makes your brain come to life. It's important here to never expect results, though, from your creativity. When you're working on a YouTube channel, for instance, it maybe made you very anxious, or you had to do it just as well as someone else, or you saw someone else's traffic and they had like 14 million views, and you're like, all they did some impressions of a guy, and they then had a cinnamon challenge where they snorted a bunch of cinnamon. It's important that you don't compare yourself when you do anything creative, or have those, like I said, those conclusions of some sort of expectation that you want from it. The point is to create. And when you go through the moments and the movements and just create, trust me, this will help your happiness. So, the last one that I want to talk about, though, is I want to talk about you, the listener, right now. Just you. Think about those ways that make you happy. Just you, no one else. Because when you do that, it helps a ton in being unhappily happy. Some people love working out. Some people hate working out. Some people love writing. Some people hate writing. If anybody in your life right now is not supporting you in those endeavors, it doesn't mean that you have to shut them out completely. It just means that you have to be honest with them, like I said before, and just be upfront. And I promise you, by telling the truth, you will reach a place of salvation. So, with all these in mind, I'd love to invite you to another idea. The thing is, we never get tired of thinking about happiness, do we? I mean, honestly, we're always trying to be happy. Life is so much nicer when you are able to couple it with some joy. Shooting for happiness, though, is a paradox. The thing is, your brain is telling you, hey, make happiness now. And if you don't, then you might not be happy. But if you're like me, and you have a compulsive indecision disorder, all right, it's not really a disorder, but, I really have a hard time sometimes making a decision. You have to tell yourself that it's okay, that you're going to make a decision, and the decision that you make is going to be the right one. This one will always make you happy. Just accepting what you tried is what you're ultimately going to get. But really, at the end of the day, happiness is just pooping in your own toilet after a long journey. Okay, that's a little sick, I know. A little vivid. But I'm telling you right now that if you ever forget, stop forgetting that you're enough and you matter. And please subscribe and stay with me on this journey of releasing myself and yourself from negative thoughts. So just hit that subscribe button, and hey, please leave a review if you found this episode at all helpful for yourself, or if you found it inspirational or valuable, just share it with a friend. Share it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Take these little quotes that you hear and tweet them out into the world, or Instagram them out into the world, or Facebook them out into the world. I promise that those little things that you do during the day and your habits will make a life worth living. So, again, thank you guys. And hey, I can't ever say it enough. You matter, and you're enough. That's a lot of enoughs. Too much of that stuff. Alright, see you guys.